But who's to say that even if you're in a vegetative state, that you're not aware of what's going on around you? And I've also heard stories of, people being in comas who were completely aware of everything that was going around them, but they weren't able to speak, they weren't able to move, they weren't able to do anything, and then they, pulled through years later, and they came and told these stories about, like, I remember this, I remember that, and that makes me really think, even if you're in a vegetative state, how can you say somebody's brain dead?
My heart had stopped. My breathing had stopped. I was, for all intents and purposes, dead unless they could revive me. I could feel pain. They had shocked me to bring me back, restart my heart. Boom, I was back. After that, I was in a coma. And I had awake and asleep times in the coma. Some people, they can still hear and understand things. They are still cognitive while they're in a coma. Other people have no memory of their coma. I'm one of those that I heard things. I could hear and understand what was going on. There was one particular nurse. She would talk to me. She would let me know what she was going to do. Her voice was gentle. And I just thought, this is a wonderful, wonderful nurse. While I was in the coma, I was not breathing on my own initially. I was not able to eat or drink, so I had IVs and I had a nasogastric tube. So they had a respirator which went through my mouth to keep me breathing. And they had a nasogastric tube that gave me nourishment and fluids. And these things sustained me. I remember another incident while I was still in the coma. And I heard a male voice. And he must have been a doctor, and there must have been a bunch of interns with him or something, because he says, this one is a sad case. Young woman, mother of 2 little children at home. Her husband is being completely unreasonable, though. He just isn't ready to let go. But so many people could benefit from her organs if he would just let her go. And I thought, you can't have my organs. I need my organs. There was another young man there, another younger voice, and he says, Doctor, is it appropriate to talk like this in front of the patient? And he says, hello, I just told you she's brain dead. This doctor diagnoses a patient as brain dead. This doctor sees the same patient and using different criteria says, no, they're not brain dead, they're simply comatose. Or they're maybe in a persistent vegetative state, or they have a variety of different diagnoses that they may apply to someone who is incapacitated because of some sort of brain injury or brain activity, a decrease in brain activity. Girls, when they get to that stage, they'll go through menarche, they'll start having periods, they'll go through puberty, and they'll continue to grow. A woman who's pregnant and is diagnosed brain dead can continue to carry her child and nourish that child and grow the child within her and give birth to that child. The whole process can still occur. Now, to say that this person is brain dead and yet all of these things are happening in this person, it's not possible, because these all are neurologically controlled processes. Digestion does not occur without the parasympathetic nervous system telling you to digest. Breathing does not occur without the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system controlling those. These are all processes that come from the brain. The true problem with organ donation is that the person is not able to voice their opinion at that time. If their organs are going to be harvested, they're being harvested from a person who cannot speak up for themselves. And in every other type of surgical procedure, we require informed consent. If I have my durable power of attorney for healthcare, and I have within that document and through my proxy, my power of attorney, I have indicated what I want to happen if this scenario occurs or that scenario occurs. That is, in a way, informed consent, because I have made known in advance what I would want if. The problem is only a tiny percentage of people really know what doctors mean when they say brain death. Most people don't realize that that's not true death. The heart is still working. The lungs are still working. The person's, as long as we nourish them, they'll stay alive. You know, the definition of brain death varies. You know, you ask this expert or that expert, and they'll tell you different ideas of what constitutes brain death. So since it's subjective and not objective, it doesn't have an absolute truth. Can it be trusted at all as a true diagnosis?